K-Pop Korner.
Welcome to this week's episode of K-Pop Korner with me, your host, Adam Riley. You're listening to turquoiseradio.com, the global online station with something for everyone, and that includes you, fans of Korean pop. This week is a very unusual episode. We're focusing on something quite special indeed. We're going to be focusing on an SMTown London flash mob. Don't know what a flash mob is? Well, I suggest you check out two videos. The first one, Fatboy Slim's Praise You, and another one by Girls' Generation, Ha Ha Ha, and you'll get an inkling into what to expect. Basically, a flash mob is a group of people who assemble suddenly in a public place, perform an unusual or seemingly pointless act for a brief time, then quickly disperse, often for the purposes of entertainment. And in the case of this, it's definitely for SM entertainment, to get the attention of the record label behind Super Junior, Girls' Generation, FX, and many other artists, in the hope of getting a special concert in London, making the record label aware of how passionate UK fans are. Listeners of K-Pop Korner have definitely shown how passionate they are, and the response each week is amazing. Later in the show, we have an exclusive interview, with one of the organisers of the special event that's taking place at the end of August, so stick around for that. This show, being dedicated to the SMTown London flash mob though, is filled with songs from the setlist to which the group and all the fans will be dancing to. It all starts off with a double whammy of classics from BoA. First up, Energetic, and then Only One.
Speakers too. See the DJ hitting that replay. Do what he say and turn me on. I'ma do a lot of talking with my feet and the beat, and I promise don't need no phone. Put me on, 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 put me on to the dance floor. Put me on, put me on, put me on, put me on, put me on to the dance floor. I'm so energetic, don't think I will ever get it. I'm feeling so energetic, don't think I will ever get it. I'm feeling so energetic, don't think I will ever get it. I'm feeling so energetic, don't think I will ever get it. I feel like I'm up there, above the clouds. Did you meet my speaker? Ain't he talking loud? Beat the flow, don't it beat the flow? Beat the flow. That's that, and I ain't gotta say no more. I'm so energetic, don't think I will ever get it. I'm feeling so energetic, don't think I will ever get it. I'm feeling so energetic, don't think I will ever get it. I'm feeling so energetic, don't think I will ever get it. Watch me do it with my hands. I can make you see some things that you will never see before, baby. I can do it all again. Watch me do one move for you that will just make your heart stop, baby. Come on and make me, 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 come on and make me. Report to the dance floor. Come on and make me, when you're gonna make me, come on and make me, when you're gonna make me, come on and make me. Report to the dance floor. Put me on, 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 put me on to the dance floor. Put me on, put me on, put me on, put me on, put me on to the dance floor.
어색하게 마주 앉아 사소한 얘기로 안부를 묻고 가끔 대화가 끊기는 순간에는 차가운 정적 우릴 얼게 만들어 지금 이 자리에서 우리는 남이 되겠지 어느 누군가는 눈물 흘리며 남겠지만 주지 않으려고 자꾸 애를 써가면서 눈치 보는 네 모습 싫어 So I let you go 내 사랑이 이제는 안녕 You're the only one You're the only one 일어나는 이 순간에도 You're the only one 아프고 아프지 말아 다시 반가워 다시 널 못 본다 해도 You're the only one only one You're the only one 갑작스런 나의 말에 왠지 모르게 넌 안심한 듯해 어디서부터 우린 이렇게 잘못된 걸까 오래전부터 다른 것만 기대한 건 아닌지 누구보다 시작과 끝에 날카로우니 내 심장을 찌르는 아픔은 왜 똑같은지 벅찬 가슴이 한순간에 함께 무너져서 이런 내 모습 어떻게 이렇을까 내 사랑이 이제는 안녕 You're the only one
You just heard Energetic and Only One, both by BoA, the first two tracks in the setlist for the SMTown London Flash Mob event taking place at the end of August. Stick around for an exclusive interview with one of the organisers later in the show. Next up, Kangtar with Love Frequency, Breaker Shaker. Kangtar, for those that don't know him, was actually the lead singer of H.O.T, a group featured on the show a few weeks back, one of the initial purveyors of K-pop in South Korea, along with SES. When they broke up though, he went solo, and he's massive, especially in China, which is why those with a delicate ear will realise that Breaker Shaker is actually sang in Chinese. After that, the next boy band that became huge after H.O.T. Yes, it's TVXQ, or as many Koreans know them, DBSK, Dongbang Shingi. So you'll hear first up Love Frequency, Breaker Shaker by Kangtar, and then Mirotic by TVXQ.
Love is the love, it's the love, it's the love, it's the pain, it's the pain, it's the pain, it's the pain, it's my tears, my tears, my tears, my tears, it's the dawn, it's the dawn, it's the dawn.黑暗面那通关秘密，搜寻爱情的讯息，永远想冻结所有呼吸，专属于我的独特频率，不会轻易被锁定。不断散发你的反气息，一点一点一点一点将你的所有现实看清，直到我用力融化你的心，瞬间让你进入之境。真实的心跳，遇见我变成了感叹号，意志力却让你先出招，how我找答案还没揭晓，为什么你总会挑战我的忍耐？因为害怕受到伤害，就说男人不坏你不爱，还不明白我一早将为你所有奇迹，别再故作神秘假正经，背负我让你五体投地。不断散发你的反气息，一点将这所有现实看清，直到我用力融化你的心，瞬间让你进入之境。空气快要高温发抖，随时随地燃烧，爱情快要燃烧劲爆。 相去辩论，帅气只是却绝对满分。不要怪我对爱太没分寸，我是太有天分，让我确认爱上爱其实并不过分，但是却很明白我这才的爱不分好坏，不是盲目崇拜，崇拜随心，喜爱失去安全感，失去我的招牌，让你目视神秘的崇拜。散发你的反气息，一点一点一点一点，将这所有现实看清。知道知道知道知道，我用力融化你的心，瞬间瞬间瞬间瞬间，让你情不自禁。爱情快要高温发抖，随时随地燃烧。爱情快要燃烧尽爆，那 break a shake a。爱情快要高温发抖，随时随地燃烧。爱情快要燃烧尽爆，那 break a shake a。爱情这场战役不要虚伪斗气，你不要再欺骗自己，爱心口不一。爱情的便利像魔力，不知不觉被吸引。Oh my love。爱心的态度让你停止脚步，少年被我说情愫，举手投足万众瞩目，现在就倒数 ，baby down let it down let it down 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 down。散发你的反气息，一点一点一点一点，将这所有现实看清。知道知道知道知道，我用力融化你的心，瞬间瞬间瞬间瞬间，让你情不自禁。爱情快要高温发抖，随时随地燃烧。爱情快要燃烧尽爆，那 break a shake a。爱情快要高温发抖，随时随地燃烧。爱情快要燃烧尽爆，那 break a shake a。
시작은 달콤하게 평범하게 나에게 끌려 언제나 그랬듯이 먼저 말을 걸어와 모든 가능성 열어둬 사랑은 뭐다 이미 수식을 해두었어 난 왜 이렇게 말 울서 game 알잖아 지루한 걸 조금 다쳐도 넌 괜찮아 넌 나를 원해 넌 내게 빠져 넌 내게 미쳐 헤어날 수 없어 I got you under my skin 넌 나를 원해 넌 내게 빠져 넌 내게 미쳐 넌 나의 노예 I got you under my skin 내 머릿속을 파고드는 날카로운 눈빛 나 아니고선 움직이지도 않는 그런 머리 네가 선택한 길인걸 혈관을 타고 흐르는 수화기에 나의 그리스도 맞춤을 시작해 다시 날 그려준 너 이것도 사랑은 아닐까 넌 내게 빠져 넌 내게 미쳐 헤어날 수 없어 I got you under my skin 넌 나를 원해 넌 내게 빠져 넌 내게 미쳐 넌 나의 노예 I got you under my skin 한 번의 키스와 함께 날이 선뜻한 강한 이끌림 두 번의 키스 뜨겁게 터져버릴 것 같은 내 심장 Yeah 너를 가졌어 You know you got it
You just heard Kangta's Love Frequency, Breaker Shaker, sang in Chinese, and TVXQ's Mirotic. We're working our way through the setlist of the special dance routine that will take place at the SMTown London Flash Mob event at the end of August. Next up are two complete extremes. The first is a subunit of a group called The Grace one of the lesser known groups out there. And then straight after, you heard this song right when K-Pop Korner started. It's Mr. Simple by Super Junior. Keep it here on K-Pop Korner with your host Adam Riley for more K-pop hits on this SMTown London Flash Mob special.
뭐가 못해 선배도 얘기 솔직히 반대 눈을 낮춰야 남자가 보여 좋은 녀석이 있어 머리가 좀 사실 많이 크지 그 옆에 서면 내 얼굴 진짜 작아 보이더라고 그거 때문에 만난다는 건 아니야 진짜 사람이 입을 만난 정도 Show me 어쩜 좋니 토크는 안 끝나고 우린 더욱 아쉽고 이 밤을 불태워버린 이만의 백분처럼 나죠 요 백분처럼 나죠 백분처럼 난 먹고 자고 울고 웃고 사랑하고 다 저울질하고 때로는 미워하고 매일매일 난 큰 꿈을
Because I'm naughty, naughty. Hey, I'm Mr. Simple. Because I'm naughty, naughty.
You just heard One More Chance by the Graces subunit Dana and Sunday and Mr. Simple by Super Junior. We're almost there. We're almost at the time for the exclusive interview with one of the organisers at the SMTown London Flash Mob event. Just one more track, and this is a tune that they will be using as a special dance breakdown to be performed by only selected dancers. Yes, whilst everybody is welcome to join in the majority of the event, there will be times where only the best dancers will be drawn to the front, because this, after all, is going to be covered by the media. Hopefully both Korean and British press. And of course K-Pop Korner is right behind it, because after all, we're both working towards the same goal, promoting K-pop across the world, including right here in the UK. This track is called Max Step by Unique Unit. It may be a bit heavier than normal, so brace yourselves. You just heard Max Step, a rather different style Korean track from a group called Unique Unit. Now it's time for the interview, which provides all the information you need to know about the SMTown London Flash Mob event taking place at the end of August. Take a listen, and then we'll be back with more music. Welcome to the show. Can you start by introducing yourself and explain when you first got into K-pop?
My name is Hebe Perry Belfridge. I'm 16 years old and I got into K-pop in 2010.
Can you please give details of the event date, time, location and where to get more details for listeners that may still want to get involved with this flash mob?
The event will be held on August the 31st in Trafalgar Square in London. It starts at 1 p.m. and more details can be found on my YouTube channel, which is the K-Pop Jang, THEKPOPJJANG.
What made you decide to get involved in doing a flash mob to get the attention of SMTown? And how many people are in the organisers group?
Well, in 2011, my friend Katie organised a YG flash mob in London, which was a huge success and was reported on in the national news in Korea. And since then, there have been some flash mobs that have been held just for fun. But having seen how successful both the YG flash mob has been and how successful other SMTown flash mobs have been around the world, we felt that it was time for the British fans to make their own contribution. There's 3 of us organising the event. There's myself, Jasmine Hippolyte and Bemi Fadia, and we will also have help on the day from Sami Barkadel and Andrea Arocha.
What sort of difficulties have you faced since starting the preparation work for this project?
We've had a few difficulties, but the main one has been ensuring that everyone involved gets all the information they need. Since the whole thing's being organised over social media, we can never be sure if people have actually read the posts and taken the information on board, unless they actually like or comment on the post, which not many people do. This is quite worrying for us because we're always in the dark about how many people have actually acknowledged our posts, and we just hope that everyone is getting the relevant information.
Why choose SMTown only? And how come you decided to get this going now rather than earlier, or maybe further down the line?
We decided on SMTown only for a few reasons. Firstly, because we knew how popular SM artists are in this country and how well received an SMTown concert would be, so we wanted to be able to bring the community of fans together and do something fun while still making a point. We've also seen how big of a story the 2011 YG flash mob was in Korea and how successful the other SMTown flash mobs have been in other countries. For example, there was an SMTown New York flash mob in July 2011, and this was a huge success, and New York fans actually got a concert from it, which happened in October 2011. And there have also been a few attempts at SMTown London flash mobs before, but we decided to do this one now because London is firmly in the world's view at the moment, having just hosted the Olympics and celebrated the Queen's Jubilee, and even just recently welcoming a new royal baby into the world. So we felt that now would be a good time because London is in the spotlight.
Do you think that perhaps the SMTown tour has not hit here yet because they're simply waiting for the launch of Girls' Generation's first English album next year?
I hadn't thought of that, but that could well be a reason, and that does seem like quite a clever marketing strategy actually. I think that at the moment SM is focusing more on Super Show and also building up more of a fan base for EXO, since they're still a new group and the fan base is still growing. I am sure that SM is well aware of the international fan base though, and they will listen to us if we shout loud enough.
How did you decide upon the final list of songs for the dance routine?
Well, we wanted to strike a balance between popular and easy to learn, since we know that people of all abilities will be involved in this event. And we also appreciate that people are using their own time to prepare for this. So we wanted to make sure the routine wouldn't take too long to learn and take up too much time for people. As for example, we decided that Super Junior's representative song should be Mr. Simple, because it is, as the name suggests, a simple dance to learn. And we also decided to include some songs that most people may not have heard, which were Kangta's Breaker Shaker and Dana and Sunday's One More Chant, because we wanted to show that we're aware of the lesser known artists under SM as well as the really popular ones. Admittedly, some people would have preferred that we'd chosen different songs, but we did expect that.
Do you feel nervous about dancing like this in public? Perhaps worried about the general public's reaction?
Well, personally, I'm more nervous about the flash mob running smoothly than actually dancing in public, since I've done it several times before. It can be a little nerve-wracking at first, but once everyone's kind of settled into the dance, it's fine because you know that the whole community is there with you. From my experience, the public reaction has always been one of either support or just general intrigue. So, although the idea of dancing in public seems scary, it is often much better than you think it will be.
What other flash mobs have you taken your inspiration from? Either fan ones or official artist ones?
Oh, well, of course there's the YG flash mob and the SMTown New York flash mob that I mentioned before, but fans in Vancouver also did a really good SMTown flash mob. And the Russian and the Italian fans always do amazing flash mobs. And if ours turns out to be even half as good as these ones, I will be a very happy girl.
Can people still get in touch and attend? How about those that are too shy or lacking in confidence about their dancing skills, but still want to show support?
Of course, this flash mob is a community event and it's open to anyone who wants to be involved. If you're shy, don't worry, because we'll be organising people into a formation so that the less confident people won't feel like they've been thrown into the spotlight.
You mentioned that you have links with the Korean press and SMTown itself. Can you provide details of how much attention this event has already been getting? Also, who else have you contacted to get media attention, like in the British press, for example?
Well, I have confirmation from a freelance contact of mine who works with KBS and SBS that our event will be reported on if the producers approve. And I'm also talking to him about getting an article placed on their website if the press can't make it to the actual event. And we also have contacts who can forward details of the event onto SM itself. And we've also contacted the BBC, Channel 4 and ITV about it, and we're awaiting reply from them.
Have any press confirmed definite attendance to provide coverage?
Unfortunately not yet, but as I said, we're waiting for a response from the British media, and we're yet to be told whether the producers at KBS or SBS want to be involved and cover this. Of course, it's out of our hands whether or not the producer wishes to cover a story like this, but we're still very hopeful that they'll be able to come, and we do have ways of getting the story out there and getting it to SM even if the press can't come.
Are you in touch with the various popular K-pop websites?
Well, we've had our event promoted by the team at United K-Pop, and I also occasionally write for a website called kpopconcerts.com, so I will hopefully be posting an article there in a few days.
In your opinion, why do you think K-pop has a better chance of success in the UK and Europe than J-pop?
Well, both are very popular, but I think perhaps K-pop has a slightly better chance because it's a little bit more familiar than J-pop, since it's more heavily influenced by Western pop music, so it's closer to what people already know. And although I hate to say it, I do think that the Gangnam Style phenomenon has been good for raising the profile of K-pop in Europe, and J-pop hasn't had an equivalent yet, so it's not as well known.
What sort of post-event work will you be doing to ensure this flash mob isn't forgotten and the effort doesn't go to waste?
We'll be creating a collection of videos about the project, including a kind of business pitch, if you like, explaining the reasons why we think an SMTown concert in London would not only be successful but beneficial to SM as a company as well. And we'll be spreading these videos around social media, and we will also be working with the flash mob participants and the online K-pop communities afterwards. So we'll be doing things like providing them with fan chants and finding the best places to buy light sticks and other concert merchandise for if or when an SMTown London is announced.
Would you consider arranging another flash mob if this one goes better than expected?
Oh, definitely. Flash mobs are fun and they're really creative things to do, and I think it would be great if we were able to continue doing them.
Well, thanks a lot for taking the time to answer our questions. We wish you all the best of luck with the event, and perhaps we'll do a follow-up with you after it's taken place.
And this is a shout out to K-Pop Korner with Adam Riley, bringing the best of Korean pop to the entire world on turquoiseradio.com, the global online station with something for everyone.
Well, did that answer all your questions? We certainly hope so. Do you think you'll be taking part? Do you think you can get down to London in time? Why not? Sounds like great fun, and you'll be helping a great cause. You'll be bringing Korean pop to the UK and helping spread the word, along with the likes of K-Pop Korner. Don't forget, K-Pop Korner with your host Adam Riley, right here on turquoiseradio.com, is fully supporting the SMTown London Flash Mob event. We only hope that more media takes notice and we all get the results that we want. Next up, EXO-K with History and SHINee with Ring Ding Dong.
Listen, 느낄 수 있니? 내 심장이 뛰지를 않아. My heartbeat 내 맘에 울어도 보고 소리 질러 외쳐도 봤어. My pain, baby. 흙과 백 아직 남과 똑같이 나지 않는 전쟁 scene. 물러나는 태양의 절망. 멀리 돌고 돌아서 다시 시작하는 곳에 다 왔어. 어리투성이지만 회복하며 강해질 수 있는 나. 저 태양처럼 거대한 하나란 걸 아는 나. 모두 함께 가는 우리 미래로. 아니죠 when you want me. 지루한 이별에서. Every day 내가 만든 history. Break it. 욕망의 반칙. Move it. 파괴라 미덕. 너무 shake it like that. Magic. 시간이 가면 또 씻은 듯이 다시 재생돼. 시공간을 뛰어넘어서 에덴의 아침을 꿈꾸고 있어. 가자 우린 그런 존재. 멀리 돌고 돌아서 다시 시작하는 곳에 다 왔어. 어리투성이지만 회복하며 강해질 수 있는 나. 저 태양처럼 거대한 하나란 걸 아는 나.
저 너란 걸 헤어날 수 없다는 걸 나를 선택해 돌이키지 말고 선택해 내게 빠진 바보인 나 날 책임져야 돼.
You just heard two great boy bands. The first one was EXO-K with History, and after that, classic SHINee with Ring Ding Dong. You all love the girl groups, so we won't disappoint, and clearly the organisers of the SMTown London flash mob certainly don't want to disappoint either, because the next two tracks on their set list are FX with Hot Summer, and another track that you've heard on K-Pop Korner in recent weeks, Girls' Generation, The Boys.
도저히 이렇게도 안 되겠어 내가 어떻게든 좀 손보겠어 낡은 스타일밖에 모른 너의 produce 얼마나 멋져질지 좀 알겠어 교실에서 사무실 책상에서 청소하는 방에서 없어 너와 나 없어 뜨거운 방송 쏟아져 따뜻해 눈부셔 살짝 찌푸린 눈 선글라스 얼음을 깨문 입속과 쫙 얼어래 하늘은 파랗지 못해 투명해져 Hot summer, a hot hot summer Hot summer, a hot hot 너무 더워 Hot summer, a hot hot summer Hot summer, a hot hot 이게 내 맘 많이 부해변은 아니더라도 금가루 부련히 눈부셔 파도 말투트 타고 아이스크림 가게도 간식 가득한 TV가 재미야 한강에서 물가란 동해에서 저와 카파크에서 재밌게 놀자 없어 뜨거운 광선 쏟아져 따끈해 눈부셔 살짝 찌푸린 눈 선글라스 얼음을 깨문 입속과 쫙 얼어내 하늘은 파랗다 못해 투명해져 Hot summer, a hot hot summer Hot summer, a hot hot 너무 더워 Hot summer, a hot hot summer Hot summer, a hot hot 이게 내 맘 땀 흘리는 외국인은 길을 알려주자 너무 더우면 까만 긴 모르자 It must be burning cause it got you sweating GG Yeah You know Bring the boys out We bring the boys out We bring the boys out Yeah Bring the boys out 술리 맞춰 사는 것난 길드가 좁아가니 괜찮니 암담한 세상이 그댈 주눅들게 만드니 괜찮니 그냥 볼 수가 없어 난 부딪히고 깨져도 몇 번이고 일어나 날카롭게 멋지게 이뤄내고 영말던 네 야성을 보여줘 My boy But bring the boys out Girls' generation make you feel the heat 전 세계가 너를 주목해 But bring the boys out 위풍도 당당하지 뼛속부터는 원래 멋졌어 You know the girls Bring the boys out 흔들리지 말고 그댄 자리 지켜 원래 전쟁 같은 삶을 사는 인간인걸 너는 왜 대체 왜 포기해
You just heard Hot Summer by FX, although it's a bit rainy now sadly. Followed by The Boys, the Korean version. You heard the English version last week. Yes, it was by Girls' Generation. You remember their name by now, we mention it often enough. At the event, as mentioned in the interview, there will be time for people to just chant and dance. Perhaps you're not the best dancer in the world, perhaps you're a bit too shy. Well, the organisers had the answer. Girls' Generation and Super Junior joined forces for SEOUL, Seoul, and this track will be played to give all comers the opportunity to just dance, chant, have a bit of fun and be part of the cause.
어느새 하루가 또 지나고 집으로 향한 나의 발걸음 부푼 가슴에 처음 시작했던 그 맘 그대로
가끔은 피곤한 일상 속에 지쳐버린 내 맘을 이끌고 길을 따라서 숨쉬고 있는 나의 자유
Yes 느껴봐 희망 가득한 세상
Yes 저기 높은 미래 향해서 SEOUL 함께 불러봐요
꿈이 이뤄질 아름다운 세상 어디서나 즐거운 일이 넘치는 곳 사랑해
SEOUL 함께 외쳐봐요 어디서라도 웃을 수 있는 행복 모두가 하나 되는 세상
어느새 꺼져버린 내 모습 후회 없이 살진 않았는지 부푼 희망에 좀 설레였던 그 맘 그대로
알 수 없는 내일이 궁금해 어렵고 험한 일이 생겨도 견딜 수 있어 내게 부끄럽지 않도록
Yes 느껴봐 희망 가득한 세상
Yes 저기 높은 미래 향해서 SEOUL 함께 불러봐요
꿈이 이뤄질 아름다운 세상 어디서나 즐거운 일이 넘치는 곳 사랑해
SEOUL 함께 외쳐봐요 어디서라도
웃을 수 있는
행복 모두가 하나 되는 세상
You just heard SEOUL by Girls' Generation and Super Junior, a track that would be played down in London at the end of August for the SMTown London Flash Mob event, all in the hope of getting SMTown's attention and bringing K-pop to the UK. Any event needs something quite rousing to finish it off with. After all, you don't want to finish on a flat note. And what better way to go out with a bang than the extremely lively I Got a Boy by Girls' Generation. We'll take a listen right now.
Ayo GG Yeah 시작해볼까 뭐 얘 좀 봐라 얘 무슨 일이 있었길래 머리 잘랐대 또 얘 좀 보라고 머리부터 발끝까지 스타일이 바뀌었어 왜 그랬대 궁금해 죽겠네 왜 그랬대 말해봐봐 좀 Hey, let me introduce myself. Here comes trouble. 따라해. 너 잘났어 정말. 지금 뭔데 웃겨? 너무 컸대 거 아니? 나 보고 평범하단다 yeah. 그 남자 완전 맘에 들었나 봐. 말도 안 돼, 말도 안 돼. 넌 너무 예뻐지고 섹시해졌어. 그 남자 때문이지. 물어볼 뻔했다니까 너 바꾼 화장품이 뭔지. 사실 난 처음 봤어. 상처 입은 야수 같은 기쁜 눈. 얘기만 해도 어지럽다니까. 너 잘났어 Stop, let me put it down another way. I got a boy 멋진, I got a boy 착한, I got a boy handsome boy 내 맘 다 가져간. I got a boy 멋진, I got a boy 착한, I got a boy awesome boy 완전 반했나봐. 내 왕자님 언제 이 몸을 과로와 주실 텐가요? 하얀 꿈처럼 내 품에 안아 올려 날아가 주시겠죠? 나 깜짝 멘붕이야. 그 사람은 내 빛나치 궁금한데 완전 마음에 들어. 못 이긴 척 보여줘도 괜찮을까? 절대로 안 되지. 그치 우리 지킬 건 지키자. 맞지 그 맘을 모두 가질 때까지 이건 절대로 잊어버리지 말라고. 밤새도 못 잘라 우리 최고 원심 싸다다. 내 말 들어봐 그 아이 너네 알지. 좀 어리지만 속은 꽉 찼어. 어떨 땐 오빠처럼 듬직하지만 애교를 부릴 땐 넌 예뻐 죽겠어. 넌 미쳤어 미쳤어. 넌 미쳤어 미쳤어.
Yes, that was I Got a Boy, a song you've heard a couple of times now on K-Pop Korner, but we don't grow tired of it. It was Girls' Generation from their Korean album at the beginning of 2013. And that's all we've got time for on K-Pop Korner. I'm your host, Adam Riley. You've been listening to TurquoiseRadio.com, the global online station with something for everyone, including Korean pop fans. And we hope you enjoyed this SMTown London Flash Mob special, and wouldn't it be great if all the efforts paid off and there was a special concert in London. We certainly know that Team K-Pop Korner will be down there in a flash. Be sure to join us again next Tuesday, 6 PM UK time, 1 PM Eastern for those in the US. Or, if you can't make it on Tuesdays, we have a repeat show, don't you know? That's Fridays 9 PM Eastern for those in the US, or Saturdays 2 AM for those in the UK, or if you live in Central Europe, at the moment, that would be 3 AM. K-Pop Korner, bringing the best of Korean pop to the entire world via the wonderful medium of Turquoise Radio. Be sure to have a fantastic week and see you again soon.